Maintaining friendships during my 20s has been hard. I was mainly hanging out with my college friends right after graduation, and it was convenient because a lot of us stayed in the same city, and when I moved cities, I had a bunch of school friends here as well. But now, people have moved away, taken other jobs, gotten married, had kids, like they're responsible for other humans now? What? And overall, you just get busy in your 20s, and friendships take a lot of active work to maintain. I'm not just gonna run into you in the dining hall. I have to put you on my calendar in order to make sure that I see you. I'm someone who tends to be very work-oriented, and so I found myself in my early adulthood kind of dropping off the social map, especially when it came to socializing outside of work. Part of that meant realizing that I wanted a friendly social workplace, and so I looked for jobs where I would like the people who I was working with, because let's face it, that's who I'm gonna spend most of my time around. I mean, at least 40 hours a week, minimum. And it also meant that I needed a system to actively work on maintaining relationships so that I could make sure that I saw the people who were the most important to me. So I came up with a system, and that's what I'll be sharing with you in this video. It's how I maintain my social life to feel fulfilled and like I'm connected to a larger community. Now, I'm not perfect at it. I do have seasons where work kind of takes over and I do have to drop off the social map. It's kind of happened to me this year. But as long as I'm keeping this framework in mind and hitting it most of the time, I can make sure that I'm leaving my house on the weekend, exiting the work cave occasionally, and actually keeping in touch. Hey, it's your girl Ahsante, helping you move consciously and creatively through life, so let's go. So I have 4 layers of intentional relationships that I maintain. At the core is my priority layer, then outside of that there's my support layer, then there's connection and community, then my network, and then there's sort of a cloud outside of that. My priority layer at the center is my immediate family. These are the people who I'm in constant contact with. I will call them or text them whenever just to check in. We have our family group thread going, and because these are the most important relationships in my life, I'm always thinking about them. I don't even really need to be on top of this system to have them top of mind. They don't need to be scheduled in, although having a regular check-in day each week does help. But reaching out to them is natural, so it doesn't take planning to stay in touch. Right now for me, this is just my mom and my sister. Hopefully, eventually a partner will go here as well. Hopefully, that's a thing that will happen. And if you have kids or anyone else who you're choosing to live with, share space with, share life with, that's who would go in this area. Next is my support layer, and these are my close friends. These are the warm, fuzzy relationships that make me feel like I'm not alone in the world, because my family feels like me, it feels like the same unit, so having these relationships makes it seem like there's someone outside of my nucleus who's choosing to be a compatriot, to be a comrade, if you will. We're checking in with each other, we're supporting each other, we're sharing the details of our lives, there's a lot of trust, there's a lot of support, and we really want to make sure to hold space for each other in our lives. I have 5 people in this layer right now, and I have recurring friend dates with each of them. I see them between every other week and once a month, at least once a month, and they are in my calendar as recurring meetings. This was the big revelation for me. Turn my close friendships into recurring meetings. I'm a work-oriented person. You gotta go with your orientation, right? So I will stay on top of my calendar, and so putting people on there, make sure that it happens, right? And having these recurring dates on the calendar, same time, same day, alleviates a lot of the admin burden of hanging out, which I realized was what was tripping me up. I'm just not great at remembering to check in with someone, actually reaching out, sending messages back and forth, trying to coordinate an exact time, trying to think about whether someone would be interested in hanging out again so soon, but we hung out not long ago, but I really enjoyed their company. Is it too much? Am I coming on too strong? I'm trying to gauge their interests. We make those decisions up front. Hey, are you interested in seeing me every other week? Cool. This is the time and day that generally works for both of us, and if it doesn't that week, then we'll connect then and figure out an alternate time. Boom. Done. We also wind up having a default activity so that each time it's not like, hey, what do you want to do? I don't know. What do you want to do? I'm flexible. I don't know. What's happening this week? Well, like things I don't have time for. My hangout plans are lunch with one person, happy hour with another, apartment hang with a third, and video call with the 2 others. That way, the most research and decision making that needs to happen is what restaurant to try this time. So The less back and forth and decision making needed, the better. And I like how this layer has worked out to be a variety of different types of people in my life. Some are old college friends, some are old work friends, some I've met through professional networking, some have known me for a few months, some a few years, some almost a decade. So it's cool to be able to get suggestions from and bounce ideas off of people who know me in different ways and in different contexts. I'm pretty picky about who's in this layer, as they say you're the average of the 5 people who you spend the most time with. Their ideas and ways of thinking will rub off on you. So these are people who share my values, who share a lot of my interests, and who feel like really warm, positive, inspiring additions to my life. They're people who I've really committed to making time for and who are committed to making time for me. Thank you for being a friend. Oh, yeah. We're starting at the bottom, now we're here again. While I'm connecting with my closest friends one-on-one these days, this is also where a local friend group would go. I don't have one because all the friends that I knew who knew each other have moved away over the years, but ideally that would go in this layer as well. The next layer is my connection and community layer. These are people who I see one-on-one, either in person or virtually, but I might only catch up with them a couple times a year. And overall, I try to do about one of these hangouts a week. This is my chance to reconnect with friends, former colleagues, or to connect with a new acquaintance to continue the conversation. I might also choose to go to a local community event if it seems like I could connect with people who share my interests. And this is also where dating goes, when there's time for that. Having a weekly outing or meetup allows me to mix it up, stay in touch with people who I like but are generally busy, see new people, and also see a bit of the city. Weekly is also a low enough commitment that I can stick to it while getting my other work for the week done. I found that if I go much more beyond once a week, then I start to eat into the time that I really should be spending working, because although it is fun, content creation is a full-time job. Low-key, this is a grind, all right? We are out here hustling, okay? So this allows me to keep a balance of work and play. The next layer is my larger network. These are people who I've met over the years and have liked and thought are interesting, former coworkers, former classmates, business contacts, people who I've met at events, and I might not know them personally, and I don't really need to keep up with the details of their lives, but it's still nice to keep in touch and reach out every now and then. These are the folks you'd send a happy holidays card or a happy new year email or something of that sort. This is where having some sort of contact management system comes in super de-duper handy. You can use a CRM, that stands for a customer relationship manager, because it's often used in that business context. I use Notion, which you may have guessed if you are a frequent viewer of this channel. I'll have another video that breaks down my Notion relationship management system in detail. That'll be linked in the description and in the eye of the tiger. But keeping up with these folks is nice, even if it's just one note a year, because it does make you feel more connected. It allows you to keep in touch even though you're busy, and maintaining these loose ties gets you to be aware of more novel information and opportunities that you might not be aware of by just talking to your regular group of friends. The people who are your close contacts, who are within your circle, tend to hear about and know about the same stuff that you hear about and know about, so it's nice to just reach outside of that every once in a while. It's a way to just spice things up, just shake it up a little bit. And lastly, there's the cloud outside of my network. This cloud consists of people who I don't really know very well at all, but who I have engaged with in some sort of context. And it's largely thanks to social media that this cloud exists. Maybe we follow each other on social and we've chatted a bit, but I've never actually gotten to meet you in person. I maybe would miss you if you walked by me on the street. So a lot of internet friends who I haven't interacted with off platform would go here. Or maybe we worked together briefly or did a quick intro call or interview, but it never moved past that. We don't really need to be close friends, but it'd be cool if our paths crossed again. This is what I largely manage on LinkedIn. I go on LinkedIn about once a week and see people's job updates, leave some congratulations and some comments, and see what people are talking about in my industry. Instagram is a good place for these connections as well, especially if you follow someone's stories and comment on those, and Twitter can be a good place to connect also. And because there's no pressure for me to actually keep up with the people in this cloud, I don't feel pressure to be on those social platforms all the time. If you like this video, you might also like my video about how I use Notion to manage my relationships. That'll be right here. If you want some extra goodies from me straight to your inbox each month, then you can sign up for my Growth in Progress email newsletter. That'll be linked. And if you want to help support my work, you can join my brilliant beans over on Patreon. As always, remember to live spiritedly and think creatively, and I will see you next time.